Hey everyone, today we are talking about defining true freedom in life, the paradox of choice, and hope. Is it worthless to have hope in the world? And that is because I'm here in Nicaragua. I finally had some time to read a book, and I'm reading today. Finally finished reading Everything is Fucked, a book about hope by Mark Manson, who is the author of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck bestseller. And this book is really interesting, and it's a bit, it throws the whole notion of hope up in the air of, like, is it worthless to hope? And especially pointing against a lot of religions that use hope as the basis of a lot of their philosophy. He goes into a lot of philosophy with a lot of different philosophers, and I'm going to dive into a few of the nuggets and my takeaways from this book, and starting with this one right here. The problem with hope is that it is fundamentally transactional. It is a bargain between one's current actions for some imagined pleasant future. So don't eat this and you'll go to heaven, or work hard, save money, and you'll be happy. These are the definitions of things we do to have hope for a better future. So to transcend the transactional realm of hope, one must act unconditionally. You must love someone without expecting anything in return. Otherwise, it's not truly love. And he goes into Swiss philosopher Kant, K-A-N-T, who summed it up with his one basic rule for humanity, for life, in all of his work. It was, you must never treat humanity as a means, but always as an end itself. So not using someone to get to a place of access for money or to better yourself or to whatever. You have to always treat that person as the end result, as the foundation of your thing. So interesting stuff there from Kant. I've got a few more nuggets here. You can define wealth by how desirable your pain is. Problems are inevitable. A good life is a life with good problems. So he goes into a lot of different history in this book on how to choose our problems and how problems in the past were way more heavier, and yet people's lives were a lot better. And then he even goes into ancient philosophers, Greek philosophers, Plato, Aristotle. They spoke not of a life of happiness, but of character, developing an ability to sustain pain and make sacrifices, ancient rituals of bravery, honesty, and humility. This brought together anti-fragility, not like Thomas Jefferson's the pursuit of happiness, which is the way a lot of people are living their life now. Always choosing happiness, finding ways of happiness rather than digging into the problems and sacrifices for finding truth of character. And here's another, continuing on that. No matter how much wealth is generated in the world, the quality of our lives is determined by the quality of our character. And the quality of our character is determined by our relationship to our pain. And then it goes into defining freedom in a whole different flip on its head. The only true form of freedom, the only ethical form of freedom, is through self-limitation. It is not the privilege of choosing everything you want in life, but rather choosing what you will give up in your life. So really interesting stuff there on choosing your limitations is choosing your freedom. And he continues on another nugget here. An inability to identify, tolerate, and seek out negative emotions is its own kind of confinement. If you only feel okay when things are fun, easy breezy, you are not free. You are the prisoner of your own indulgences, enslaved by your own intolerance. So some pretty interesting stuff there, and that dives into the definition of freedom and also the paradox of choice. The more options we're given, the more freedom, the less satisfied we are with whatever option we go with. And he goes into a lot of different papers and scientific debate on how the more options we have, the more unsatisfied we are. As an example, Mike picks between 2 boxes of cereal versus Jane picks between 20 boxes of cereal. Who has more freedom? Who has more choice? Well, Jane does not have more freedom. She has more variety. And variety is not freedom. More stuff doesn't make us freer. It imprisons us with anxiety over whether we choose the best thing. And I think everyone has felt that when they go into a restaurant, have this huge menu, and you're not really fully satisfied with anything because you had 20 options to choose from, and you're always looking at, grass is greener on the other side of what you could have had, buyer's remorse, all of these kinds of thoughts. So then Mark Manson continues, the only true form of freedom, the only ethical form of freedom is through self-limitation. So diving into that a bit more. And then you can become freer right now simply by choosing the limitations you want to impose on yourself. You can choose to wake up earlier. You can choose to block your email until the afternoon. Delete your social media apps. These limitations will free you because They will liberate your time, attention, and power of choice. They treat your consciousness as an end itself. Your own means, your own self as a means to an end. So, and then on the last chapter, Mark Manson kind of goes hard left turn and dives down into artificial intelligence, which I wasn't expecting at all. And he dives into, here's a few of my takeaways from that chapter. The difference between life and stuff is that life is stuff that self-replicates. Survival of the fittest is a common term, or is it survival of the best information processing? Evolution rewards the most powerful creatures, and power is determined by the ability to access, harness, and manipulate information effectively. Like the lion can hear its prey a mile away. An amoeba evolves sensors on its membrane to better detect amino acids. Humans, they're the only species that can conceptualize past and future and deduce long chains of cause and effect to strategize in abstract terms. In his words, humans are the zenith of 1 billion years worth of evolutionary forces and algorithms. Also, by the nature of our algorithms can produce no permanent satisfaction or peace amongst the global network. So it kind of comes back around of like, now we're processing so much information, we have so much choice, we're riddled with depression, we're riddled with anxiety, we're riddled with too many options, too many things to do with our time, our attention. It's zapped in a million different ways. So coming back to the art of freedom, of choosing what we put limitations on and how we put limitations on ourselves. And he comes back around to AI being this way to process more information for us, making our lives better, or whatever you call it, but they're the zenith, moving on to the next evolutionary ways. So a bit of a left turn on it, but some really good nuggets and insight here, especially a lot of history lessons, a lot of philosophers. Everything is fucked. A book about hope, Mark Manson. So there's a few nuggets for you for your day here today. John Early coming to you from Nicaragua. Thanks for tuning in and listening to a few nuggets of philosophy for your week.